In this video, I want to talk about a really common misconception that we have in the strength and conditioning world, which is that a bigger range of motion is inherently better. We so often hear that, oh, I'm going to do this exercise or that exercise because there's a bigger range of motion, or this variation or that variation because the bigger range of motion is better. And the reality is, in a lot of cases, that's 100% true. But there are also cases where it isn't. And today I'm going to show you this misconception in relation to rowing variations. Now this can pertain to dumbbell rows, barbell rows, inverted rows, cable rows, whatever row variation you want. I'm going to use the banded row just because it's a little bit easier to show you. So a lot of times what we'll see with rowing variations are clients or athletes right here in this position, and they'll continue with the row, they'll continue, and they'll go all the way back here because it's a big range of motion, right? But that's not going to give you the most benefit. The bigger range of motion in that front isn't necessarily helpful. It's actually less helpful than a shorter range of motion. And I'll explain why in 1 second. The best technique you're going to have for a row variation is from here to here at most. Okay, so you'll notice the position of my elbow is right in line with my torso. This is as far as I go backwards. So from here to here, the elbow doesn't go past my torso. So this is good, this is bad. And technically the bad way is a bigger range of motion. Now here's why. When I come all the way back here, even though it's a bigger range, I'm getting that range with pretty much with the wrong muscles, we'll call it. So what's going on is, as I'm coming forward, the head of my humerus, the top of my arm bone, is popping forward in what's called anterior humeral glide. Number one, it's a little bit more dangerous because you're more likely to get some impingement type syndromes. So you could get shoulder pain or an injury from that type of a row. Number two is, when you come with this extra range of motion, you're really not using the important muscles that we're looking for. When we're doing a row, we're looking to train the back, right? So the rhomboids, the scapular retractors. When you come here, you're using more bicep and arm than you really are your back, okay? So when you come to here, when you're doing it properly, you'll notice the elbow doesn't go past the torso because you're relying on your scapula to slide across the rib cage and create that movement. When you're using the arm as opposed to the back, you're going to create a bigger range of motion, but it's essentially useless range of motion. And this is why a bigger range of motion isn't always better. If you are creating that bigger range through useless movement, through movement that not only is useless but also could possibly be dangerous, it's not going to be better. It's just useless. You're wasting time, you're wasting energy. So instead of focusing on getting a bigger range of motion, focus on using the right muscles. And when this comes to the row variations, make sure that you're focusing on sliding the scapula across the rib cage so you're getting a good range of motion. You're getting the most benefit out of the range of motion regardless of how big it is. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below.